Welcome to another episode of Industrial Amputation, where you can always expect the unexpected. Today we have with us Ryan Policky from the Colorado-based post-punk and shoegaze band of Shoreline Dream. Definitely check out their music if you're a fan of Ride, Spiritualized, or Slowdive. Ryan, thank you so much for being with us today.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me. This is great.
Awesome.
Awesome, man. So your newest album, White Lined, is a really beautiful endeavor, and I thoroughly enjoyed this one. You worked
Yeah,
with
me
a
too.
gentleman named Mark Gardner from the massively popular band Ride on several tracks for this record. How did this pairing come to fruition?
So crazy. All the connections in life that you have. There's been weird connections all the way since we started, but this one was really I talked to him about 10 years ago in an email, but he totally forgot about that. But what worked out is as got a hold of my publicist and was ready to get moving on something again, I find out that she is working on Mark Gardner's effort at that time and
Oh
is like,
wow.
"Oh, they're going to be coming through town. You should go to their show. It'll be awesome." I'm like, "Of course I want to go to their show. I'll
Yeah.
go anyways. Can you get us backstage maybe?" And like I could talk to him
Oh,
about some stuff.
sweet.
And she hooked it up. And there you go. It's like we went to the show. It was on my birthday, which was
Oh,
like magic.
nice.
It was total magic. So it was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
sweet, this will be sweet." So we'll go to the show on my birthday, and I'll just see if he would be interested in working on a song together, just to see what he says. I'll
Yeah.
just ask him, and I asked him, and he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm totally
Nice.
down for that. You want?"
Nice.
I guess it was right timing because it was before they started working on their album. So he was like
Yeah.
in this in between time period of their last album and just kind of working in his studio, and it just worked out. It was amazing. I don't know. It was something you just got to
Kismet.
ask.
Yeah. Kismet. That's brilliant. So did you find working together be easy, I think, an easy thing to do?
I knew that it would be easy to do when I met him because we kind of like had the same sort of like vibe. You feel that vibe that you're
Yeah.
like, "Okay, I could totally work with this guy. He's
Yeah.
super cool." We're like communicating without even knowing each other,
Yeah.
and it's like a whole different world away.
He
But
exudes that
we're
on
we're
stage
similar
too.
in age group.
Yeah.
What's that?
He exudes that on stage too. Just
Yeah, totally.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I was just like I knew he would be nice and he would be fun and it would be a great process working with him. And after having like a couple initial um discussions with him over like chat,
Yeah.
we determined that yeah, this let's just go for it. And I just gave him a plethora of songs. I said, "Hey, what do you think of these songs? Is there anything that like stands out to you that you would want to work on?" And it was just like the beginning stages of
Yeah.
songs.
Mhm.
And he picked three songs that he like really dug, and he
Yeah.
instantly just was like, "Let's do something with these." And there you
Yeah.
go. He started writing his stuff.
Freaking awesome, man. Yeah, they are a hell of a band to begin with, but him,
Yeah, they're legends.
yeah, they
Yeah.
really are. Yeah. I feel privileged to have been able to see them live just a few years ago. And my friend Andy came in from Texas. He's like, I'm coming up for Bumbershoot. You want to go with me? And I'm like, oh hell yeah. He's like, I just one goal. Got to see Ride. Got to see Ride and got to see the Dandy Warhols. And I'm like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So we got to do both. And a bunch of other stuff as well. But yeah, it was I mean, I was right on we were right on the stage. We got there before they set up and everything. And
Okay.
yeah, so
Oh,
hell
nice.
of a show. Hell of a show.
Oh my God, I know, and that's what's amazing because I'm gonna approach this guy who just put on like an amazing show. Like it's kind of intimidating. You're
Yeah.
like,
They're
"Holy
guitar
cow, the
pedal,
place is full."
they're pedal boards. Jesus.
Yeah, but they just sound exactly like you want them to sound.
Yeah.
Like they hit it, right?
Yeah.
So all the levels are right, everything sounds right. They're not compromising on something to make it
Nope.
work.
Yeah.
And they play it like with heart and passion, and you can
Yeah.
tell they're way into it. And you're
Yeah.
like, "I want to be like that." I need to go talk to that guy and see how how that's possible to even
Yeah,
be somewhat in that realm with him.
yeah,
And, you know,
yeah.
when he's interested and he actually starts working on it, I was just like, this is great. I've
Jesus,
always wanted
man.
to work with Mark. You know, I have always appreciated his songwriting, most of the songs that he's done, I just love. I mean, who doesn't? I mean, that's why
Yeah,
they're so big, right? So it's
yeah,
just like,
for sure. Yeah,
yeah, it was
yeah.
amazing. So,
Incredible.
and he's a really nice guy, and it was easy to just pass a song back and forth and just kind of let it go and be what
Yep.
it became on every
Yeah,
one of the songs that we did. And it wasn't like we were like, oh no, we need to change something. We just went with what was working
yeah.
for our workflows on our different sides of the world because I wasn't
Well,
going to work directly with him.
yeah. Well, it came together incredibly well. The album is
Oh, good. I'm glad you like
fantastic.
it.
It is absolutely fantastic. I was listening to it last night, just blown away.
Oh,
Now,
good. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you.
on top of working with, royalty, shoegaze royalty,
Yeah.
um, the Mark Kramer merged Overkill, Bongwater, Shimmy Records. He oversaw mastering and the record's preparation for the direct vinyl production. Did have you had a chance to work with him directly?
Oh yeah, yeah. What's crazy about this story is that I met him back in the MySpace days
Oh,
because at the time there was a magazine, Filter magazine, that kept
yeah,
pushing us like hard. And they got us on the music page, and that's how he found us. Mark Kramer like heard us on the music page of
yeah.
MySpace and was like, "Hey, if you ever have something in the future to work on," I was like, "Yeah." You know, I'm like, I want to work with
Oh
you.
man,
You're a legend. Like, what the hell? I
yeah,
definitely want to work with you. Let's do this somehow. And it was our second album. He came here. I flew him to town to Denver, and he stayed at my house with me for in the band for a week, and we just worked on mixing and like
wow,
creative ideas, and he helped with Recollections of Memory, our second album. So he
yeah,
basically is the mastermind behind the sound that it sounds like now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So he was
holy
the
shit.
mastering guy there. But he mixed too, so that was great. So then I
Yeah,
knew this time around, I knew he was still way active in the music world,
yeah,
and this was going to be our first time of doing vinyl because we've never done vinyl before. I was just like, let's go ahead and get him because he knows everything about vinyl mastering, and I
yeah,
don't need to really think about anything. And
yeah.
he
It
actually
is
has
different.
creative ideas. So
Yeah,
he was able to say, "Hey, you need to restructure the order here a little bit," and he was like recommending how it should be so it would
oh
fit
man,
right on vinyl. So
yeah,
he knew what to do, and it turned out great. So I
yeah.
was like, "Yeah."
No, that's amazing. Having somebody that's able to understand the differences between the formats. I mean, because
He knows it so well. I mean, he knows
vinyl
vinyl
is a
so
it is a
well. I
very
knew,
different monster. And I think it
yeah.
was Mark Walk had to do similar stuff for the Ogre album, Tricks. It's the CD and the vinyl, two totally different mixes,
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, it's mind numbing how much
And
work
when it
can go
becomes
into that stuff.
scientific and you work with somebody, yeah, you work with somebody like
Yeah,
Kramer who looks at it scientifically,
yeah,
you realize it's a whole different kind of beast because
yeah.
you have to hit the equation
Well,
exactly
I
right.
am very
So he
much
just
looking
does that.
forward
And
to
I
having
knew,
the vinyl. I'm very much looking
oh,
forward
great.
to adding the vinyls to my collection because
Oh, I
yeah,
love hearing that.
yeah,
It was a big deal because I wanted to do that, and it was like we got to make vinyl of something. Let's do it on this
yeah,
album because it's Mark. We're working with Mark. Why not? This is
yeah,
the best
yeah.
time to do it. And everybody
It's
buys vinyl more than CDs anyways. Nobody buys
yeah,
CDs anymore. So
yeah.
yeah,
You got two freaking legendary marks on your team.
yeah,
That's freaking awesome. That's
it's
awesome.
totally cool.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm still talking with Mark now because I'm starting to write some stuff actually as we
yeah.
speak downstairs and might be doing some more with Mark
Okay.
after their
Well,
tour.
excellent,
They get done with their
excellent.
tour in January. So he was like, "Yeah, let's talk in January." So maybe we'll do another single or something. That's what I'm hoping
Sweet.
for.
Right on.
Yeah.
Awesome. So the video you have out for Written in Dust, which is one of the tracks you work with Mark, feels like a lucid fever dream. The visuals can be blurred at times as frames come in and out of focus, all while weaving together an intricate, beautiful tapestry. How involved were you with this video?
That would be just basically me. That's me. I mean,
Excellent.
it's me and some actors I know. I'm the director of the thing, and I also shot it and edited it because I do that for a living. I don't
Mhm.
just do music. I'm
Yeah.
also a producer, so I've worked on so many different aspects of production, and I just had this idea because throughout our history as a Shoreline Dream, I've done the videos. I've been the producer and director of those and make those come to fruition. It's just kind of my job. I've always worked in that world. And that's definitely what I wanted it to be like. I wanted it to be like a lucid dream, like really
Yeah.
weird and like surreal. Because our sound is that. It's this
Mhm.
weird,
Yeah.
like lucid,
Yeah.
like driving down a road and like dreaming of something, and not paying attention, kind of like on an open road that's way too long, and it's that vibe, and that's what I try to get with the visuals
Yeah.
on all these songs and all these videos. It has that kind of quality to it where it's not real, but it could be interpreted that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think you nailed
Yeah.
Fascinating.
it. What was that shoot like?
Oh, it was super fun. I didn't what's interesting is that I shot the main part of it, the storytelling aspect, and then Mark shot his side in a hotel room and just sent me video of it, and I just worked it in
Yeah.
of him singing the song,
Mhm.
so it fit in
Oh,
there,
wow.
and so I think the production of it was funner than actually the shooting of the video because
Yeah.
it was interesting to see what I was going to get from Mark and what he would have thought of how I put it in there. And he was
Sure.
into it, and it worked. It was just worked. It felt right.
Now, did you have any collaboration on the idea of what you wanted, or was this more of like an exquisite corpse where you just I do one thing, he does one thing, and then we just smash them together and see what happens?
We talked about what he thought the lyrics kind of meant to him, but
Yeah.
he's open to interpretation. So it wasn't really we did talk about it, like what is this song really supposed to be,
Mhm.
and what are we trying to convey here? And I just interpreted it, and I did it and didn't I showed it to him at the end when it was all
Oh, wow.
done. And he was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know that would take only a couple days." And I'm like, "It just worked out that way. I don't know." Sometimes you make a video really quick and it just works out and you just are like, how did we do that? And you don't even remember how you did it. It's weird. It's
That's awesome.
I don't know.
Perfect
So
segue
it's
into the
fun.
next question because, it's a wonderful track and I absolutely love the lyrics. Can you
Thanks.
provide some insight as to where Mark was coming from lyrically when crafting this piece?
That's hard for me to answer on my side. But it's the written in dust. Um, a lot of the album is kind of based on this idea of just trying to find your way out of something that we were all in, a confused state of mind for such a long period of time, and how to get out of there,
Yeah.
and also the way that it's interpreted by other people. So it's his words are definitely very interpretive, um, but it has that meaning of trying to get out of something that you didn't think it was possible to get out of. And
Well, that's
a lot of the songs carry that kind of theme of
yeah.
that because I think we all kind of can agree that
Oh,
it
yeah.
was
It's
weird
very
those last four
relatable.
years anyways.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very, very relatable. And yeah, I enjoyed it immensely. It's
great.
yeah. Your band was
I love
formed in
that.
2005 when you met future bandmate
Yeah,
Eric Jeffries at a ride show, oddly enough. How did that evolve into the formation of your band?
it's interesting because we were in a goth band together really way before that, like in '97.
Oh, yeah.
until 2003. Yeah, called Pure Drama. And he was playing guitar for me then. And it was a different vibe, but it was still similar the way that we
Yeah.
produced. So I broke off and did this like trip hop experiment called Drop the Fear. Um, that was like kind of more of a massive attacky vibe of stuff, just kind of
Okay.
trip hoppy.
Yeah.
And after that, it was like actually my drummer from that project, and he was a producer as well, Gabe Ratliff. He mentioned, what if we tried something more live and explosive? And I was like, that's totally what I want to do as well. So let's
Okay.
do this Shoreline Dream project, but we called it the Oceans Above at first. Um, and we just wanted to see what kind of sound we could come up with. And that was our first album, essentially, is like a lot of that
Right on.
became what we were, and Eric came back into the mix of it because he knew our production style and was interested in that same
Yeah.
sound. So of course is like, let's
Yeah.
do this.
There's a lot
Yeah.
to be said for good
So that's
chemistry in a band. Yeah.
oh yeah. Yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
you either have to already have been friends or you're like forming as friends and you really have these kind of similar interests. And
Yeah.
that's really what it was. We were
Or at
in
least for a
goth
sustainable
music.
band. Sometimes if you're really at each other's throats, you make for a really great but very short-lived project.
We have had some crazy tour moments. There's no doubt about it. I have
Yeah.
seen the band fight. I have seen it. Okay. So Shoreline Dream, as much as it's a dreamy experiment,
Yeah.
has its like little moments of just some drama.
Yeah. All right. Do you have any cool stories from the road you can share about that?
During Chapter House, we went and played with Chapter House for their very last performance before they just
Okay.
stopped.
Yeah.
And that was in San Francisco. And we drove out just for that one show.
Yeah.
Where yeah, no, I had met Chapter House out in London because I was friends with Ulrich Schnaus because we had done some songs together back in the past. And
Okay.
if you don't know Ulrich Schnaus's stuff, he's phenomenal.
I'll have to
Legend
look him
just
up.
as much as
Yeah.
any of these
What
bands.
was that band
And
you Chapter House. Chapter House.
Chapter House. They were like the same time period as Ride when they came out. So they're like one of the
Okay.
first shoegazer bands. So when I
Okay.
met them, I was like, well, we want to play shows with you guys. Like,
All right on.
you guys are going to come back together and do shows. We want to do it. And
Yeah.
we did that one. And it became a drama fest. But it was fine. It's fine. You need to have moments in your musical career that are total madness.
Yeah.
Like we didn't go on stage until Ulrich got there, so we like
Yeah.
had the whole thing like held up and stuff. And we were like backstage, just like, yeah, we're just gonna be cool on this show. And Ulrich comes and we're like, we gotta go, we gotta go. We're like 40 minutes late. Oh my God. But it was an amazing show. It was an amazing set because we played with
Yeah.
Ulrich and we, playing
Oh,
right
that's
before
awesome.
Chapter House, and it was great. So I don't
That's
know. We've had a
awesome, man.
couple. We've done some weird tours. We used to tour the West Coast. We toured with Ulrich Schnaus down to Texas. Uh, we've done East Coast stuff like New York and whatnot. We just haven't
Yeah.
played forever as a band, like on a live stage for a long
Yeah.
time though. As much as that we keep coming up with music, it's not been played live for a minute.
How would you say the band's
So.
sound, A Shoreline Dream, has changed over the years while working with Eric?
How's it changed? There has been moments where it has gone completely electronic,
Hmm.
and there's been times where it's gone completely progressive. But the core element of it, the core like kind of sound, Eric has like this sound with his setup that is kind of hard to replicate. So he has his own thing, and then I have my own thing, that like shimmery thing. So
Yeah.
I do this shimmery sound with the guitar, and stylistically changing, but the stories are always the most important part of it, and that's what drives it. So, we have that core element of those sounds mixed together, but we're still like that shoegazy thing, I guess.
Yeah.
I've never really called it shoegaze as much as it's like progressive music, progressive
Yeah.
goth or something.
Hmm.
Like it's like goth. It's still
Yeah.
gothy, but it's like progressive goth, but it has that shoegaze vibe because we have those shimmery
Yeah.
sounds.
Yeah.
Um, but I always look at it as a story as much as anything. And I look back at our music and it's not changed that much, even though stylistically it might have been handled differently. It's
Yeah.
had this kind of vibe to it.
I was noticing some of the tracks took me back to what it felt like listening to Lush the first time.
Oh, cool.
And
That's
and
cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I love
yeah, it's
that.
a
Yeah, because
I
I mean,
it's still it
we
like that
wanted to
just
have like that,
yeah.
yeah, the Verve kind of vibe, like a
Yeah,
Storm in
yeah.
Heaven kind of vibe.
Hmm.
Like that really resonated with us a lot at the time, was
Yeah,
that Storm of Heaven is so good.
yeah,
It's like we got to do this kind of same like cavernous sound, and then
yeah,
to finally work with Mark, who kind of established that kind of sound at the beginning.
yeah.
I mean, Cocteau Twins, they did as well,
Yeah. They
obviously.
did. Yeah, yeah,
4AD is the originator of this kind of
yeah,
tone and this sound, and it's cool to talk to people that have actually created it.
yeah,
You know, they made that cave sound
yeah.
that we
I
were looking for,
probably
like
wouldn't
being
have a
in a
record
well or
collection
something.
without 4AD.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
totally. This is such a huge Cocktail Twins is one of the biggest things in my life, just because
yeah,
so amazingly
yeah,
artistic. It just made
yeah.
you want to make music as soon as you heard
No,
it.
absolutely. It's some of the greatest things I ever heard. I mean, people were like, "Are you literally singing along to Cocteau Twins?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "How? Nobody
Yeah,
can understand the words." I'm like, I'm just doing
doesn't
it.
matter.
Yeah, you don't have to know the word. You don't have to know the
Yeah, there are
words.
no words. She doesn't even know what the words are,
No,
and you
no.
see them live, and they're totally
Yeah,
she's singing
and
it
they,
different, and it's
yeah, and it's yeah, it's freaking beautiful. But yeah, when Lush came out, it was I don't know, something about them really, it may have been just how beautiful they were. But the
yeah,
it 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 was a really great time to be around music and listening to music and discovering new things when they came out. It was kind of perfect timing, and this kind of this album, the new album, is it's really reminiscent of that feeling. It doesn't sound like it, but it's got that energy. And
oh
and
good,
a little bit of the vocals do kind of sound a little lushy, but yeah, that energy is
definitely
very
an
nice.
influence. Yes,
Yeah,
definitely an
yeah,
influence. I mean, I
yeah,
always like a symphonic vocal more than
yeah,
I like a in your face, like I'm trying to tell you some story, you got to know every word of it.
yeah,
I'm more like I just want that symphonic sound
yeah,
of it to kind of like fit right with the mix.
yeah. It's freaking awesome. It really is. So, do you have a
Thank
favorite
you.
track you've written with a Shoreline Dream?
A favorite track? Oh man, there's some tracks that were really big for me, like Aftershocking, which was like on this EP that we made that had Ukraine on it. And
Okay.
Ukraine is one of my favorite songs, and was one of my favorite songs. When we did when we did the songs with Ulrich, those songs are ridiculously good, I think. Like Never Changer and Hyper Mode are like so good, I think. Like I can still listen back at those and go, wow, those turned out great. And
Yeah.
then another one that I really, really like is um why am I thinking? Time is a Machine Gun. Time is a Machine
Okay.
Gun.
Nice.
That one is really, there's something about it. You never know what song you're gonna really like, until like you
Yeah.
gotta hear it 100 times, and then you know which song's your favorite song.
Yeah.
And Time is a Machine Gun, so good. I don't know. Barnum's really good. There's some eras that the songs weren't as big because they weren't released like as wide stream as some of this stuff has been. Um, that are so good. B-side songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
B-side songs. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
in these new songs, I mean, like, of course, are huge for me. But they're
Yeah.
so new still. I need to listen to another 100 times. But Hollow Crown I really like Hollow Crown a lot. I think
Sure.
that was like our last song that we did together, and it just was like it came together really fast, and it was like, holy cow, that was amazing. How did that happen? I don't even remember. And that's a really good song.
Right on.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I'm excited about
So
getting the video out for that.
watch that Granddad Go. Um, Probably my favorite B-side song of all time by Bauhaus. Just
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
you struck a chord bringing up the B-side stuff. Yeah,
Sometimes as a B-side song, yeah, you think about it and you're like,
yeah.
man, that was like really good. And
It's
like that's not even
yeah,
close to their top song, you know? And
right. Yeah,
I love that
yeah,
because you
yeah.
just
Do
you
you have one?
gravitate it
Another
a
from
song.
another
Oh
band?
man. God,
Metal
I
by
mean
Gary Newman,
there's
the B-side to Cars.
yeah.
That was the first vinyl I bought with my own money was Gary Newman's Cars 7-inch. And immediately went, okay, I don't need Cars anymore. That's the Metal. That's the song. That's the fucking song. And I would do little like talent show things where all the neighborhood kids would get together outside one of the garages and do stuff. And I would do Kiss, but then I started doing Gary Newman. Yeah. So do you have one?
One
Do you
thing
have a
I can
favorite
say,
B-side song?
oh man, I would say that the band is a B-side band, and they have a B-side song that's really good. And they're called Wobbler. They
Wobbler.
are like a newer school, Yes kind of band. Like they
Seriously.
sound like Yes. And this album of theirs, Dwellers of the Deep, the whole album, incredible. And that's kind of like my B song, right? Currently, because you
Yeah.
music, you change your mind constantly. What's
Yeah.
my
No,
favorite song? I
totally.
don't know. It's so hard to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. I I
Zeno and
I choose
Oaklander,
whatever I'm listening to at that very moment is probably my favorite thing of all time. That's how my brain works.
probably.
Like people are like, what's your favorite
Yeah,
song?
and
I'm like,
I'll
that's not fair, man. Like ask me again in 10 minutes, it's going to be totally different.
if
There's
you
too much
listen to
damn
this
good
song,
music out there.
I know, yeah, right. And this one song I had on loop is "By the Banks" by Wobbler.
I'll look them up.
Phenomenal. You'll
Okay.
listen to that and you'll be like, "Holy cow! Why
Right
aren't these
on.
guys bigger than this?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like the cows. You remember the cows?
Uh-uh.
Oh, look them up.
The Cows.
Yeah, cows. Yeah,
Okay. All
incredible.
right. I'll
Yeah,
definitely look that up.
yeah.
Yep. See, we can pass
I,
our favorite stuff back and forth.
yeah, good stuff, man.
When writing music,
Yeah. So
what serves as inspiration for you when writing music, Ryan?
usually exactly what's going on at the time.
Yeah,
A vibe for what I've got going. I got to get the vibe out of my system,
yeah.
and musically is the best way to do it, you know? So a
Mhm.
lot of times I'll just take what I'm feeling at that moment or what I'm experiencing and it turns into a song. And then you just kind of put a tempo to it,
Excellent.
right? So
Yeah,
that is usually what it is. I don't know sometimes. Sometimes it's in my core and I don't know until it comes out.
yeah. I did a
So
piece called
weird.
Crash that I was hit by a truck while cycling. And after, I mean, I was broken up badly. And so after that was finished, I'm like, I need to make a sonic representation of this. So I started out with a click track that sounded like the chain of my bike and a heartbeat, and then just kind of built on top of it from there. It's still not finished, but but yeah, it's somebody was listening
But
to that.
that's
They're
how
like,
you
wow.
do it.
Yeah, and then all of a
Some
sudden
things
at
change your
the end,
life
everything
forever.
goes, and yeah, yeah, kind of everything melts together, and I'm like, yeah, that's
Uh-huh.
that's when the truck hit me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
all these songs are definitely like personal voyages through something
yeah,
that needed to get out of me. And then it get somehow comes out sounding like a Shoreline Dream stuff. But I
yeah,
also do like industrial bands and stuff, so I'm
sure.
screaming it out sometimes and
Good stuff.
you know,
Right on. So, what does the future hold for Shoreline Dream? Maybe
there's a
some
new
shows,
writing. I
maybe,
want
possibly.
to. I'm
We
working with a
want you
new
to.
drummer right now. I got a drummer that I'm working on some stuff now. So, and we're really currently is getting this new song going with for Mark.
Okay.
So what I'd like to do is have just like a plethora of options for him to kind of see what he's vibing with
Yeah.
and see if he's down to do it. And he said he was going to be. So, but I can't
Excellent.
imagine after you're touring for like with this amount of time, do
Yeah.
you come home and want to write a song? I don't know. Maybe he does. So I
Like, I've got a lot of stuff from the road I need to get on paper right now. Yeah.
I know. I hope so, but I don't know. He said he
Or
wanted to.
yeah. Or it's like
If
I
not,
just want to watch bad TV for a while.
I know that's what I expect, but he's like way into it. He's down
Yeah.
for it, so
Nice. That's
might as well
awesome.
take advantage of it. So we're gonna probably do that, and then yeah, I'd like to try to assemble people so we can play some shows finally.
Well, what could
Excellent.
someone expect from a
Yeah.
Shoreline Dream show?
Shoreline Dream shows are so like explosive, obviously, because it has to be. But visually, we do like this whole thing. I can't even imagine what it's going to look like now, but we have, video elements to it.
Mhm.
It's telling a story. It's similar to like maybe what Sigur Rós used to do with their tours,
Oh yeah.
whereas like all this visual interpretation of what's going on and
Yeah.
it fits the vibe. Um, it is big and it's wild. There's no doubt about it. We're way more energetic generally when we play live. So a lot of the songs come off a lot bigger.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joey.
So hopefully we can do it again.
Well, what's what it's like working with your label, Late Night Weeknight Records.
That's like just working with me because I'm late night, weeknight
So it
records.
must be really easy.
It's very easy.
Ever
I
have
can
any
definitely be
personnel
like,
clashes with this person?
there was a time at the very beginning where a couple bigger labels wanted to sign us, and I was just like, I don't want to sign with anybody
Yeah.
because every single band I ever heard signing always doesn't have money ever. So I'm like, let's wait till we make enough money that it's worth like them begging for us to sign to them.
Yeah.
Because I don't
That's
know. I mean, if you have it just,
that'd be
especially
logical to
nowadays,
me.
because you can yeah, you can digitally
Yeah.
distribute to anything. You're gonna know if people like it or not. And if they like it enough that you need a huge label to somehow distribute it for you and get the word out there, then go
Yeah.
with it. But I was scared of labels, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I just kind of decided let's do our own and
Hmm.
see how we do. If we do really good,
Yeah.
we'll try to sell it to somebody.
Oh, right on. So how does the music
Because
scene or how is the music scene in the band's hometown of Denver?
Denver is a weird city. It changes so much now. When we used to play all the time, there was all these shoegazer bands and stuff. There is one band I'm gonna tell you now called Pale Sun. Okay, the guitarist in this band, and he's also the vocalist. He was in a band called Bright Channel back in the 2000s, and they are one of the best shoegazer bands for sure.
I'm
And
gonna
I've
throw that
always
in
looked up to
sometime.
this guy, and he's been a friend of mine, and they are amazing. So there is still these remnants of really good shoegazer bands here, but
Right
the
on.
music's very eclectic in Denver now, and it's the venues are weird, and the city's weird, and it's like it went through like some Armageddon time period, and it's just like we're trying to reestablish it.
Okay.
But there's a ton of shows. I just don't go anywhere. But hopefully,
Fair enough.
hopefully
Yeah.
someday I'll get back out. I need to stop writing music and go watch it.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you talk about the horror film shorts you've been involved with?
Oh my God. That's like a whole nother thing. But it's Bloodshed Death Bath Productions, and we do really dumb movies for the most part that are really bad. Because I used to, I've worked on really weird stuff in my life. And,
Yeah.
I used to work for Adam Sandler. I made games for his movies, which was weird. And then I
Oh,
started working with
wow.
Nick Swartzen and doing
Oh,
motion graphics for him.
oh my
And I've just
God.
been always in this weird comedy world too, for some
Yeah.
reason. And Bloodshed Death Bath is like that. It's my little like, I don't want to
Okay.
spend $1 billion making this stuff. I just want to make some funny movies where they're crazy. And a lot of them are. And there's like 13 or 14 of these films
Nice.
that I've put together over the years with a bunch of my friends that I forced to do this with.
Where, where can
Where
people
can
view
people
these?
where can people view these?
Yeah.
Some of them are on Amazon Prime. You can actually look for a few of the movies on there. I think The Ghost of Christmas Prison is on there. Uh,
Oh, I love
Motel
that
London
title.
2, I think, is on there. They're all really crazy. And
Okay.
I did just make a movie though that's not super funny and bloody and stupid. That's more of a science fiction kind of film
Mhm.
Okay.
called Finale of the End. But
Okay.
I haven't released it to anything yet. I've just like sent it out to like try to get some like festivals interested in it maybe. So I'm in that phase of like pushing the science fiction element movie that has more of a dramatic tone to it. There's nothing funny in it. And
Nice.
it's different for me because I'm used to doing these funny stupid horror movies. So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to always like do the opposite of what I was doing before.
I
What
always ask this question of horror fans. Do you prefer them with or without CGI and why?
Well, I do CGI because I make motion graphics first
Hmm.
off, including some like like well-known things, but like I don't know if I always like practical effects
Yeah.
because there's more artistry to it,
Hmm.
more like ingenuity to how it has to be put together, and it's like more exciting to do it. And when you actually do it live and it looks good and it looks real and it is real, it's so much better. You don't get cut out of it. If I watch anything with CGI, I just instantly want to know, oh yeah, they use this software to do it and stuff. You get cut out of the movie and you start thinking about the technical part of it. And
Yeah.
I just like movies where I don't have to think about what the technical side is and is more just like, well, obviously they really like built that head and had it explode,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh,
And it's
were you one of
cool and
those
you don't
kids
think
that
about is it real?
I think as
yeah,
scanners use
were
some
you
of
one of
that.
those kids that thought about or that also dabbled in practical effects?
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Back in the day, I used to like I was obsessed with the song 3 Days by Jane's Addiction, and I wanted to
Mhm.
make like a video for it. So I made this haunted house video, and it was all practical effects and like these
Oh, sweet.
scary monsters are attacking. I don't even know where the video is at this point. Like it was just like on a high 8 tape or something.
Oh
But
man.
it was amazing, yeah. And we did do practical effects in Bloodshed Death Bath. Like I said, I've
Yeah.
exploded some heads, some
Yeah.
children's heads, exploded in
That's
Motel London too. So I would
oh
much
man.
rather always go with that practical side.
Nice.
Good
Nice. Yeah,
answer.
I found liquid latex when I was like 8. And
Oh yeah.
and I grabbed my mom's makeup. I grabbed a plastic bag and some fake blood. I filled up the bag with fake blood, and then I covered it with latex and put it on the inside of my arm so I could slice my arm open. And after putting makeup on it, just
Nice.
just messing around, you know,
It's so
like
fun
like
though. It's
kids
just
do.
fun to
It
do
is,
it.
yeah. And making scars and bullet wounds and stuff like that out of wax and
Oh
sticking them in
yeah.
my face. Yeah, yeah.
I used to work in haunted houses like as an actor.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So I was way into being in haunted houses, and they would do the prosthetics on me and stuff because
Yeah.
I was working in this place called Brutal Planet in Colorado, which
Yeah.
Alice Cooper wound up like buying and
Oh
like
wow.
making an album named Brutal Planet.
Yeah.
So we'd see Alice Cooper all the time,
Oh sweet.
but they would do a different. They would really spend the time to do like really good like
Yeah.
prosthetics on you, and it was so awesome and it was so like inspirational.
Yeah. No, that's great. I've got the platinum award for trash in my room. Alice Cooper's
Oh really?
trash.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
Okay.
uh,
Nice.
one day, one of my friends knows him, And I'm like, I just want to take that and have him sign it someday. And he's like, oh, I'll make that happen. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I remember watching Welcome to My Nightmare when I was really little, and it kind of just locked me into Alice Cooper very young. And my
I just knew
favorite
him as
song.
this like golf guy. He was always talking about golf
Yeah,
and like
I remember when he transitioned into golf. That was so bizarre. And he's like, well, all the
yeah.
people that used to, do drugs and everything don't do drugs anymore. So, I'll play golf. I'm like,
He's a
wow.
golfer guy. That's what he is always talking. And when you come into Brutal Planet, he'd just be talking about his golf in the day before.
Nice. Right
Pretty
on, man.
funny.
Yeah,
It's like, what? Are you
I would,
Alice Cooper?
yeah. I'd sit and talk golf with him for a while. I don't know anything about it, but I'm sure
Yeah.
I'd learn something.
Oh
Oh my
man,
God.
it's weird when you meet the celebrities.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So, do you have any words of wisdom for up and coming acts just starting out?
Up and coming acts, I think the most important thing is to not rush it and to make sure that you really are being constructive of who you are and what you're doing, and that you really feel you're doing what you wanted it to sound like. Because if you're not thinking it's 100% what you were thinking it was going to be, then nobody's ever going to believe it. And you're not going to believe it. And you just want to make sure you come out strong and don't be relying on like some label or somebody else to like help you out along the way. If you have really good music, people are going to like it. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter, and people will spread the word. And if you're really good live, like really make your live show really good.
yeah,
I think that's really the most important thing is really like think about what do people get entertained by,
yeah. Awesome.
and just really just it just depends. Just be what you want to be. Maybe you don't even want to play live shows. Just be
Yeah,
what you want to be, really.
yeah. It's excellent advice. I like it.
Do you have anything else you'd like to talk about or promote with us today?
Well, I think if you have not picked up the vinyl of our new album, White Lined, you need to go do it today. It's on sale right now, actually. It was
Uh,
originally $25. Now it's 17.
where
And
else
it's
can we find it?
180 gram. It's a white vinyl. It's pretty sweet. I'm
Nice,
excited to finally get this thing released.
nice. That is awesome. Where can we find it?
You can find it on a shorelinedream.com.
Okay,
That's or in Spotify. If you go to Spotify or anything, any of your favorite streaming, there's a link to it.
okay, excellent.
So we keep that updated.
Ryan, thank you for being our special guest today. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing you on the road for sure.
Oh,
So
well, I'm
if
gonna
you
do
get to
everything I can to
Seattle,
make that happen.
yeah,
Yeah.
when you get to Seattle, make sure I know. I'll take you for a sightseeing tour. We'll go get sushi somewhere if you like sushi. And yeah, I'd love to talk with you some more, man. This has been awesome.
Well,
Thank you.
thanks so much for having me on and helping spread the word of the new album. Can't
Yeah,
say
yeah,
enough thanks.
absolutely proud to do it. It's an incredible album. Everybody needs to get out there and find that. We have reached the end of another episode, gang. You can get a copy of Shoreline Dreams' latest release, White Lined, on Bandcamp and previous releases at latenightweeknight.com. And as he said, you can find it on shorelinedream.com. So go check out their videos for Written in Dust and Everything Turns. You will not be disappointed. This show, kiddies, is dedicated to our dear friends Jason Lupo and Charles Levi. Be good to each other. Tomorrow is not promised. Please do us a favor and take a moment to look at the GoFundMe for Levi. You can find links on the Industrial Amputation Facebook page, the Levi fan page, my page, and Levi's pages as well. Please share far and wide, and if you feel so inclined, donations are extremely appreciated. It takes a village. Please also remember to give yourself a break. Times are certainly stressful, but we have each other. Let's please take that seriously and be kind. Take time to breathe. There's wonder and magic all around you all the time. Please don't miss it. sometimes we just need a pickaxe to find the silver linings. Don't be afraid to go spelunking to get them. Until next time, love, hugs, and belly rubs. Cheers.